Hey, let me tell you about some ill. I mean, we struggle for the meal kit. Only my day was around me. With them, this empire we building. No ceilings like Mr. Carter said in 09. Been on my grind for so long, I know it's my time.
Hey, man. Say, man. Who you know king of the classics like Space Jam. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Rock. Back at it one more time with another banger. Hey, yo. We finally got making the case Larry Bird. I done had a lot of debates in the comments about Larry Bird's GOAT case. In my personal opinion, I think he's up there, but I don't think he qualifies for like GOAT. You know what I'm saying? And that's with all due respect. But we'll talk about it at the end of the video. But while we here, if you think Larry Bird is the greatest of all time, hit that like button right now. If you think anybody other than Larry Bird is the GOAT, hit the dislike. You know what I'm saying? Respectfully, you know what I'm saying? But let me know where y'all tuned in from. Hope y'all doing good, staying safe. At the end of the day, this is my first making the case video on the channel. So shout out to bro. Let's see what they talking about, man. Let's go.
Size of the court and the
Oh yeah, subscribe.
Basketball is special. The size of the court and the lack of pads or helmets give fans the most intimate experience of a team sport that exists. And because of the different styles that basketball allows for, players develop their own distinct identities and signature styles through their creativity, flair,
Pistol Pete,
and athleticism.
Oh my goodness.
And although no player succeeds alone, the scoring volume and two-way nature of the sport give individual stars a nearly unprecedented amount of control over the flow and outcome of the game. For this reason, players are constantly compared to their peers and to the legends of the past in order to answer the most hotly contested question in the sport. Who's the greatest to ever do it? For many, the question is redundant. They believe in only one right answer, their answer. Others might have their own personal stance, but acknowledge one or two alternatives.
That's me.
I believe that there's much more nuance to the question of greatness and more answers to it than you might think.
Like I listen.
Count, there are 8 players in NBA history that have a substantial claim as the GOAT. It's a subjective thing though. I can't give you a definitive answer. All I can do is make the argument. So today, I'll be making the case for Larry Bird as the greatest basketball player of all time.
He said he got 8 options, bro. This beat is dope. Let's guess his 8.
When it comes to basketball, Larry Bird is the smartest, clutchest player to ever play the game. Now, if you don't think that Larry Bird is the greatest basketball player of all time, you probably hate that I just said that. Those are the kind of talking head sport cliches that surely impact the game but are impossible to empirically measure. Normally, I'd agree with you, but I think that when you talk about Larry Bird, you see those intangibles become real, palpable results.
Facts.
I wouldn't have said it if I didn't believe it. When Larry Bird was drafted by the Boston Celtics in 1978, the NBA needed saving. Attendance was in the toilet, the league had few marketable stars, cocaine addiction had several players in its grasp, and most damning of all, playoff games were being tape delayed. Playoff games at the highest level of basketball were being put in the back seat for black and white movies and network reruns.
David Thompson had a coke problem? The NBA had a coke problem? I didn't even notice. The United States had a coke problem, honestly, but now seeing that is crazy.
But rather than join the Celtics after being taken 3rd overall, Larry Bird decided to return for his final year at Indiana State, a decision that would prove to be one of the most important in the history of the sport. Bird's final year saw the Sycamores tear through college basketball, going 33-0 before the national championship game. Bird, already claimed by the NBA's most historic and prestigious franchise, had established himself as the generational talent who would inherit the mantle of pro basketball.
He played 4 years.
Indiana State's opponent in the national championship was Michigan State, captained by the immortal Earvin "Magic" Johnson. The Sycamores lost the championship to the more talented Spartans in the highest rated game in the history of basketball at any level still to this day. The stage had been set.
What do you say?
Basketball at the championship to the more talented Spartans in the highest rated game in the history of basketball.
Highest rated
level,
ever?
Still to this day.
What?
The stage had been set. The next decade of basketball would be defined by the rivalry between the white hick from French Lick and his Boston Celtics and the black Magic and his Showtime Lakers.
The
rivalry between Bird and Johnson is entwined into the fabric of the NBA and is worthy of 100 documentaries. In this video though, we're going to be looking at Bird's claim of supremacy. Here's Bird's basketball resume.
Talk to
His
me.
3 championships come with perhaps the highest collective degree of difficulty of any player's championships. His 3 MVPs came consecutively, making him only the 3rd player to accomplish the feat, along with Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain.
Okay.
His 2 finals MVPs are misleading. He was absolutely the best player on the '81 Celtics, but he was only a sophomore, and his 15 points per game in the finals gave the media an excuse to exact a little vengeance on a legendarily difficult interview. His All-Star and first-team selections also come with the caveat that Bird only played for 13 seasons and missed all but 6 games of the '89 season following surgeries on both feet.
What?
I can hear you already. A 13-year career, and this guy is supposed to be the GOAT? What color of paint are you huffing, Clayton? Green, obviously. But hear me out. Yeah, Bird's career lasted about 2/3 as long as it should have. But what he did in that time was so impressive and so substantial that every basketball fan acknowledges that he's in the conversation as the greatest ever.
Like
Doesn't
I
it
said,
matter that those 13 years saved professional basketball, delivered a disproportionate amount of memorable moments, defined the golden age of the league, and produced a career
Them
by which
graphics
all other
are
forwards
crazy.
before or since are measured? Bird squeezed every drop of talent out in those 13 years and made it seem more like 30. He didn't just leave his fingerprints
hustle.
on the game. He left so much of his DNA in the sport that it needed a cigarette afterwards.
defense.
There's something to be said about the candle that lasts half as long but burns twice as bright.
Huh.
Those
Oh!
3 MVP years stack up with any other run by any other player. I will
love
put
that
an
play.
A+ Larry Bird season up against anyone's. What does an A+ Larry Bird season look like? A full box score, a blowout win, a nearly undefeated record at home, and a play style that could only be described one way: white. Larry Bird isn't just a white basketball player, he's the white basketball player.
Facts.
To describe Larry Bird's game is to thumb through the Hoops dictionary and pick out every cliche about white players. Unathletic, great shooter, good fundamentals, the whole thing. The archetype of a white basketball player is Larry Bird, with
Oh,
one
baby.
exception. He had an unparalleled understanding of the game of basketball, both as a physical contest and as a mental competition. His basketball IQ infected everything he did and catapulted his career into legend. Bird was a complete player. Jerry West called him nearly as perfect as you can get. He was the league's first great marksman. He could contort his body to shoot from anywhere on the court, regardless of the level of defense.
Crazy.
He
Crazy.
pioneered the art of the dagger 3 and was the founding member of the 50-40-90 club. At 6'9", Bird's understanding of angles and coordination led to a higher rebounding average than Patrick Ewing, and
That's
it made
crazy.
him an impressively adept finisher in his younger years. 86, Bird dropped 47 points on the Blazers, playing the majority of the game left-handed.
That was crazy.
His lack of quick lateral movement meant that Bird didn't do much when it came to slapping the floor and picking up the opposing point guard, but his size and omniscience gave him the ability to body similarly sized players, read defenses like a free safety, and pick off
Got him.
passing lanes.
That's
with
a
ease.
king.
His passing was transcendent, and I'll highlight it later. And of course you need to know that Larry Bird was a tough M effort. He had a superhuman motor and dove for loose balls like a beagle at the park. He was a willing participant in his share of fights,
Dr.
often
J.
precipitated by his league-renowned trash talk.
Larry Bird told Robert Reed he ought to stay there. He should have stayed in preaching. That was funny. He had 50 points.
I was guarding in my rookie year. He looked at me and he goes, "You can't stop me." And I looked at him and I said, "Gosh, boy, you're so confident." He proceeded
Legend.
to score like 10 straight points on me. The coach took me out the game. He walks by and he's laughing at me.
He was a basketball genius. He'd be a step ahead, a thought ahead, play the game like a chess game.
I much
Basketball
rather guard Michael
genius.
Jordan and Larry Bird because you have to play the game as a thinker when you're playing him. You have to get inside his mind.
If you put all
That's
of us
crazy.
in a room, you know, Magic, Jordan, myself, and Bird probably be the guy who walks out of the room at the end of the day.
Did you
That's
notice
crazy.
something during those
That's
testimonies?
crazy.
Those are some of the best basketball players of all time, and they all sing Bird's praises like they were former assassins who had to go toe-to-toe with John Wick, and they're just happy to be alive. Bird
Facts.
excelled during one of the most talent-rich periods in league history. The abridged list of his basketball rivals goes like this: Dr. J and Muzik.
Hold up, y'all. Who's number?
History.
I think I know everybody.
The abridged list of
Oh,
his
no, I don't.
basketball rivals goes like this.
All right. Oh, I don't know these people. Hold up, bro. Chat, name everybody. Let's see who can name everybody from left to right. Pause the video. Name everybody from left to right because I'm missing a couple. I see George, the Iceman Gervin. I see Isaiah Thomas. I don't know who number 24 is. I recognize number 3. Don't know his name. I see Hakeem. I don't know who top left is. Is that Kenny Smith? That ain't Kenny Smith. You know what? I'm going to sit this one out. I'm going to leave this one for the OGs. So, yeah. Let's get back to the video.
Dr. J and Moses Malone on the Philadelphia 76ers.
Legends. Rest in
Sidney
peace to
Moncrief
Moses.
on the Milwaukee Bucks. Isaiah Thomas, Bill Laimbeer and the Bad Boy Pistons. Dominique Wilkins on the Atlanta Hawks. Bernard King on the New York Knicks.
Okay.
Michael Jordan on the Chicago Bulls.
Okay.
Hakeem Olajuwon and Ralph Sampson on the Houston
Ralph
Rockets.
Sampson, damn it.
And of course, Magic Johnson, James Worthy, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on the
Legends.
Los Angeles Lakers. All right, there's no point avoiding it any longer. We have to look at Magic versus Larry. If you have Magic over Larry, it's because he has 5 rings to Larry's 3, had a peak that lasted about 2 or 3 years longer than Larry's, and had a 2-1 record against Bird's Celtics in the finals.
So how you gonna
Perfectly
argue
legitimate,
back?
completely respectable arguments. But in the interest of making Bird's case, allow me to retort. For nearly the entire decade of the 1980s, the Eastern Conference was irrefutably the more competitive conference between the two. Considering the competition, for Bird to have made 5 finals appearances is just as impressive as Magic's 9. As for the head-to-head record responsible for Magic's 2 extra titles, he had more help. Seriously, the Celtics' Big 3 and the Lakers' Big 3 get compared all the time historically as if they were of equal caliber, but weren't Magic's accomplices just a step above Bird's? No disrespect at all to Kevin McHale and Robert Parrish, but Kareem was the alpha dog on the 71 Bucks and was the best player for at least 2 of the Lakers' 5 titles.
This sound like BS.
James
Kareem
Worthy
a
was the
beast,
number
though.
1 pick out of UNC after winning a championship as the best player on a team that had Michael Jordan on it. Throw in the fact that Magic got
crazy.
to be coached
Okay.
by Pat Riley, one of the most brilliant minds in basketball history, and you could say that the Magic Bird argument comes down to one thing: luck. So if their careers come down to luck, the question just becomes who you would
Good
rather
pass.
take. Now, I'm not making this video to tell you why you shouldn't take Magic. I'm
What a
making this
pass.
video to tell you why you should take Bird. Not just over Magic, but over everybody. One thing that helps him is the fact that his play would translate perfectly into the league today. A 6'9" sharpshooting forward with eyes in the back of his head who averaged double-digit rebounds in an era against Moses and Laimbeer. He'd gobble up boards as a power forward. He'd be an offensive mismatch against everybody as a small ball center, and his
Yeah.
off-ball skills and passing would pair perfectly with the flow of today's game.
Yeah.
Add in his competitive mania and 3 generations worth of medical advancements, and we're talking about a player who could have stuck around so long they would have had to rename the league. As
Facts.
you've been watching these clips of Bird, I would hope that you would notice something. He always knows where everybody is.
Good pass.
Watching Bird play basketball is like watching those monsters from A Quiet Place that know where you are if you make any noise at all. Bird had a level of clairvoyance that bordered on the unnatural. In '85,
that's
he
crazy.
ended up 1 steal away from a quadruple-double after playing just the first 3 quarters. His passing was famously infectious and helped transform the Celtics of the 80s into an ideal that basketball teams at all levels are still shown tape of. They moved the ball with precision and intent, always looking.
This dude need to be a debater or something. He persuasive as hell. Do I believe what he's saying? No, but it's persuasive though. It's provocative. It gets the people going. Bird is up there, bro. He is. And I told you I respect greatness at the end of the day. I just love these conversations, but let's finish the video before I drop my thoughts, man. Make sure y'all like the video if y'all think Bird is top 5.
Looking for better shots and determined to get the entire team involved in the effort. That fact is almost entirely attributable to Bird and his wizardry with the ball. This acumen also helped Bird become the only player with a GOAT claim to transition successfully into other basketball roles after his playing career. In his 3 years as the head coach of the Pacers, Bird won a Coach of the Year award, coached the Pacers to their first and only finals appearance, and gave Michael Jordan as much trouble as he'd ever gotten in his career in the '98 Eastern Conference Finals.
Facts.
After moving into a front office role for Indiana, he won Executive of the Year in 2012, becoming the only person to have an MVP, Coach of the Year, and Executive of the Year
Ever?
award. On the
Okay,
court
that's
or
fire.
off of it, inside and out, Larry Bird sees basketball
fire.
as only he
That's
can.
that knowledge.
That intelligence also lent itself to Bird's defining skill, making the big plays. Remember, NBA players get paid to win games. James Harden is getting paid nearly $40 million this year because he's supposed to help the Rockets win games. Victory can be achieved in a lot of ways, and the win column doesn't care how it
Damn.
happens, as Mark Sinclair once said.
What? What year did this happen? The Bulls versus Milwaukee. 3-3 in the playoffs, I think. If it's 3-2, it's better. But if it's 3-3, bro, the score is 120-66.
In a lot of ways, and the win column doesn't care.
Oh my goodness, I think it's 3-2.
As Mark Sinclair once said.
They just blew him out.
If you win by an inch or a mile, winning's winning.
But when your team is down 1 in a crucial playoff game with 8 seconds left, and you need to hit a shot to stay in the series and keep your season alive, that's where players really separate themselves.
R.I.P. Kobe.
Money. Love it or hate it, it's the players that come
Look
through
at
in
them
the big moments
graphics.
that live forever in our memories. Some players, for whatever reason, were never able to do it consistently.
You ain't had to do that to
Some players
Pat.
were truly outstanding at it. Larry Bird was the best at it.
Throws it up and in. He did it again. Nah,
I'm not
Bird
gonna
was
give you
clutch.
the stats about his field goal shooting under 2 minutes with a score that's this close, or tell you who has the most buzzer beaters, or any of that.
Take that for data.
I'm just gonna show you clutch moments in clutch situations. 1985 against the Blazers. Bird drops 48 points, including this. Down 1 with 2 seconds left.
Inbound pass to double team and Bird. Larry fake.
Crazy. That's crazy. Double team.
1985 against the Hawks. Bird sets the Celtics scoring record with 60 points with shots like these.
They open the right side.
Over Dominique.
He drills it again. That's the best shooting I've ever seen.
1986 against the Rockets. Not all of Bird's clutch moments were singular. The bigger the moment, the bigger his performance. In Game 6 of the 1986
How did he do
NBA
that?
Finals, Bird clinches the championship with a triple-double in what he calls the
Good
best
pass.
game he ever played.
2 seconds on the shot clock. Bird wants a 3 out of 50.
I think I reacted to that one. I seen that play before.
1987 against the Washington Bullets. Bird hits one shot to tie it before it's waved off because of a timeout.
And then calls it and
Hits
tell him he's
another
going to do it
shot
again.
to tie it up for real.
Crowd is standing up. It goes now to Bird. Bird goes up top.
And
That
then in
was
double
crazy.
overtime, down 1, he does this.
It's going to go to Bird. He's got a shot. Get it.
That one-legged shot is crazy. That one-legged shot
For
game
3
winner
years,
is
from
crazy.
1986 to 1988, the three-point contest knew no other champion but Larry Bird.
He's still got to drop one here quickly. 14. This is a tie for the money. Yo!
That's gangster. Hey, Mullet Larry
1987
Bird was a
Eastern
gangster.
Conference Finals, Game 5. Tied at 2 games apiece
In
against
the
the Bad
warm-ups.
Boy Pistons, this enormous game would put the winner 1 game away from the NBA Finals. The Pistons
Ooh.
are up 1 with seconds remaining. The ball goes out of bounds off the Celtics. Isaiah Thomas just needs to inbound the ball to win the game.
Oh. Oh. Wow. And that's our all-time great passer. Crazy. Is that Bill Walton? What
There
are you doing there?
truly too many
Bill
big
Walton.
games and big moments for me to go through without this ending up as a documentary. But that all leads
Good
me to
move.
this, what I really want to talk about. 1987, NBA Finals, Game 4 against the Lakers. LA is up 2-1, and the Celtics need to win to tie the series and stay alive. Bird hits a 3 with 12 seconds left to go up by 2.
Big shot. Big shot. That's a big shot.
Kareem comes down and gets fouled with 8 seconds left. He makes the first, but misses the second. LA ends up with the ball with 7 seconds left, down 1 point.
Magic, like, we got it. We got it, Magic. Larry Bird about to rip that joint. Oh.
Magic hits this, the baby skyhook.
Woo. That was
2
clean.
seconds left, down 1.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
What do you think happens? I bet it wasn't that. When I paused the tape
Damn.
and the ball was hanging in the air, you thought it was going in.
I did.
Bird thought it was going in. Magic thought it was going in. I've seen this game before, and I still think it's going to go in. But it didn't. Pat Riley said it himself. We got lucky. And that, a missed shot in the NBA Finals, is why he's the clutchest. Because after he makes the big plays, has the big games, hits the big shots, time and time again, you expect him to hit every shot, to win every game. And in those fleeting moments when he doesn't, when he looks like a mere human, when he looks like everyone else who tries to do what he does, you just can't believe it. That's what Larry Bird did. He made the big plays so often you thought he was gonna make them every time. He helped turn basketball into a global phenomenon, paving the way for every Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, or LeBron James who comes through our lives. He played basketball in its purest form and captained a team that is consistently ranked among the greatest of all time. He has the second highest win percentage in the history of the NBA.
You lost
behind
me.
Magic by less than 1/2 of the highest win percentage in the history of the NBA. Behind Magic by less than 1/2 of 1%, about 10 games.
Yeah, that's
he was
crazy.
the complete package, a player with no holes in his game whatsoever.
Mullet.
They called him Basketball Jesus. He didn't get that name without doing something extraordinary. He saved basketball, and he did it by playing it better than anyone else. Here's Magic at Bird's retirement in 1993.
Larry Bird said that there would be another Larry Bird one day. And Larry, there will never, ever, ever be another Larry Bird. To the greatest basketball player ever, but more important, a friend forever.
I love that. I love that, man. I love that. Hey, that's fire. That's fire. Clayton Crowley, man, appreciate you for the banger, bro. Now, that was fire. That was fire. Now, look, man. Like I said, everybody got their opinion, you know what I'm saying? I think bro is very persuasive. I've really enjoyed the arguments. I don't agree with all of them, but I think Larry Bird is an all-time great. When we talk about the Mamba mentality, when we talk about MJ mentality, like bro said, we get that from Bird. You know what I'm saying? He had it, bro. He wasn't the most athletic. He wasn't the strongest. He ain't jumped the highest. He wasn't fast. You know what I'm saying? But he just had it. He had that gift. You know what I'm saying? And that's what makes him an all-time great. If you think Larry Bird is a top 5 player of all time, smash that like. Just punch it in the chin. Dunk on it. Hit that like. If you don't think he's in the top 5, I understand. But, you know what I'm saying? Hit that dislike. Let's see who wins. Like I tell you, I just love greatness, man. And Larry Bird up there. I wasn't alive to see it. But what I think about when I watch these videos is the battle between Bird and Bron. And my honest opinion is it would be a war every single night. I think Bird would have pushed Bron to be greater. I think Bron would have pushed Bird to be greater. And Bron is like Larry Bird molded into, you feel me, a more athletic version. You know what I'm saying? Like all the IQ, he's the blueprint. Which we got to pay homage to the legends that set the blueprint. But, man, he's a beast, man. He got heart. He was injured, broke his back. Not broke his back, had a back injury. I didn't know he had foot surgery. Cracked his orbital bone. Like, it's just crazy. It's just heart, man. If you don't take anything from this video, I want y'all to take it. Like, listen, this is very important. If y'all don't take anything from this video, I want y'all to know the GOAT is LeBron James. Nah, I'm just playing, man. But just anything that you're trying to get done, that you're trying to do, attack it, work hard, and just put your heart into it, and you could be successful at it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Larry Bird stands for. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. Hey, comment your top 3 small forwards of all time. You feel me? Let me know in the comments. Let me know where you tuned in from. Subscribe. Hit that like. And comment ONLYFAM if you made it to the end of the video. That's only found. We on the road to 100K. I see you on the next one. Gang, gang, gang.
And yeah, we still blazing. Half man, half flamethrower, flow immaculate. Gas masks, trash bags full of that Cali Kush. Need more cash flow, these boys smoking regular. Claim that they the plug, doorman, get your hustle up. Circle of bosses around me, cross cover my juggler.